Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Sunday, October 20th, 2024. It is the 29th of Libra and the day of the mummy. In our astrology, the sun is in Libra, cardinal air, representing justice. The moon is third quarter Gemini, mutable air, representing change. Mercury is in Scorpio, fixed water, representing the spiritual. Venus is in Sagittarius, mutable fire, representing generosity. Mars is in Cancer, cardinal water, which is seeking security. Jupiter is retrograding in Gemini, mutable air, which is to broaden perspective. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is to redefine dreams. Uranus is retrograding in Taurus, fixed earth, representing rebellion. Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which is spiritual awakenings. And Pluto is in Capricorn, cardinal earth, representing reconstruction. Now, for our reminders, for Jupiter, reconnect with your true path. For Saturn, reclaim your authority. For Uranus, reconsider how you rebel. For Neptune, reclaim your magic. And for Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. Our moon phase is a waning gibbous, which means it is time for us to practice gratitude. We have a Gemini moon, so our do's are social events, networking, teaching, and our don'ts are unventilated spaces, slow communicators, and manic distractions. So, our Libran sun is striving to practice fairness in all manners and in all places for all times. And the Gemini moon is focused upon people, ideas, and communication. So, I find these energies quite compatible. And the way we can harness them is by making the effort to really hear someone out, especially if you're disinclined to agree with them. Build a bridge today. Try to see the world through someone else's perspective. It doesn't mean you ultimately agree with them, but if you have a better understanding of how they arrived at their viewpoint, it usually makes it possible to have a more productive dialogue for them overall, or to address their concerns if there's some problem you're trying to solve with this person and there just doesn't seem to be any common ground. This is a way to establish some of that. Next up, our tarot is the Four of Bats. The number four represents stability. The suit of bats represents the rational masculine, projective energy, air element, and thought. And the key words for this card are calming, escape, release from stress, change for the better. So it's all starting to look up again. We have been released from what has been bothering us. We're going to find an oasis where we can recompose ourselves. And that as things move forward, they're going in a much more agreeable and productive and sustainable manner. So this is all very a good omen for what's going on today. And that coupled with that combination of the sun in Libra and the moon in Gemini, it just really feels like we can make some progress with our personal relationships today, with problem solving in general today, and honestly just sowing the seeds for circumstances in which we are going to thrive. All of that is coming together today. So I very much encourage everyone to make the absolute most of this energy while we have it. Then today's Celtic triad reads Three gluttons of the world, the sea, a king, and a city. So the sea, kings, and politicians and cities, they consume people and resources with an appetite that is seemingly without limit. The sea absorbs anything that comes into contact with it. People with political power are absolutely notorious for using people and discarding them without a second thought. And there is just something about cities that are dehumanizing by their very nature. You're cramming too many people together in too small a space with too few resources, with too little ability to exist independently on your own, and it creates this recipe for ongoing disaster. So don't lose yourself to anything or anyone who would consume you, your time, your energy, your resources, and your talents without mercy, because this is essentially what all of what everything that this verse is referring to. The sea consumes most indiscriminately. People who are in the political realm who have no moral compass, and so many of them don't. They will consume you without a second thought. They are babies playing with their live dolls. And if a doll gets damaged or is no good anymore, it doesn't matter where you put it. It doesn't matter where you throw it away. That is about the sum of what you and I mean to many of these people in power. It is grotesque. So do not put yourself at their mercy more than what you can help. And as far as cities go, I think it is really time to reconsider the manner in which we've really forged communities and whether or not future plannings in cities, because so many of them have buildings that have been damaged or broken down for various reasons, that as things are rebuilt, beginning again with greater wisdom, thinking a lot more of the human element, and instead of thinking how many people we can squish into this much square footage, saying how can we actually make life enjoyable and livable in these conditions. The human element has been left out of cities for a very long time, and it is past time to put our energy into the effort to push back against that and to do something better. Now, for today's correspondences, they are on the theme of creativity. The color is yellow, the plant is the daisy, the animal is the snake, and the crystal is citrine. So this is a very liminal time of year. The old is ending, the new is about to begin. And when we're in this phase, it's a lot easier to get those creative juices flowing. But if you're having difficulties, make use of these correspondences, try to tap into that a little bit more. And one thing that might help is to get rid of any baggage that you have, anything that's hanging over your head, whether it's a chore you really should have done last week or possibly last month, or if it's an area in your house that really does need to be straightened up, that's been a source of perpetual distraction. Go ahead and take care of these things. Make it to where the only thing you need to do is just listen to your inner voice. And even then, it can take a little while before it starts speaking again. But absolutely get rid of distractions wherever you can. Allow yourself enough space to even become bored so that when that creative side of your brain does start to get active again, you are at your peak ability to really listen and take heed of it. Then for today's practices, try out a Samhain chant or prayer. Another question for contemplation is, do you ever feel bound like the mummy? Mummies are by their natures completely bound. So do you ever feel in that way, and about what? How can your actions be like the sun? And think about when you're thinking about solar energy, it is projective, it is shining light, it's providing heat, it's doing all of these life sustaining things. So how can your actions reflect that kind of energy? Where do you note a distinct lack of solar wisdom in society, especially where it would benefit from it? And Sundays are planning days, so attend to the pantry and the linen closet. You will feel much happier if these things are in tolerable order. Now, I did find a Samhain chant for you via Pinterest, of course, and it is also posted under the community tab on my YouTube channel if you're wanting to keep a copy for yourself. But it reads, Fire red, summer's dead, yet it shall return. Clear and bright in the night, burn, fire, burn. Dance the ring, luck to bring, what the year's a turning. See, what does that see? Chant the rhyme at Hallows time when the fire's burning. Fire glow, vision show of the heart's desire. When the spell's chanted well of all the witching fire. Then you have the chorus again. Then fire spark where nights are dark makes ever winter's mirth. Red leaves fall, earth takes all, brings them to rebirth. Chorus again, and then fire fair, earth and air, and the heavenly rain. All blessed be, so may we be at Hallows Tide again. So this is just one thing you might choose to incorporate into your ritual for Samhain this year, and that really brings up the question: have you chosen or written or whatever you've needed to do your ritual text for Samhain yet? It is very nearly upon us. And I've always encouraged people, don't leave your spells, don't leave your rituals, don't leave your witchy planning to the last minute. That is where stress comes from. That's where I threw something together, but I'm not super happy with it. And so I didn't really get as much out of my ritual. That's where it comes from. And I know that, so many of my fellow brothers and sisters, like to be spontaneous, like to be in the moment and all of these other things. But there's also a tremendous benefit to previous planning. And that way, if you are not struck by a sudden inspiration while you are in circle, you still have something prepared and you have something that you already thought, this is really conveying what I really want to say, whether you're borrowing someone else's words or you have come up with your own. But don't leave it to chance, and don't, especially if you have been receiving nudges and lessons that perhaps you need to be a bit more organized in your practice. I really suggest don't leave this to the last minute. Don't wait to just come up with something in the circle, because it might be part of your lesson of, you're not going to get much out of your spirituality if you're not putting anything into it. So just A little food for thought there. Now for today's journal prompt. Do you think the gods of the dead hold us accountable for our deeds in life? This has been the subject of some pretty rowdy pagan discussions in the past. So in your journal, just kind of outline where you are and differentiate that what you think based upon what you have learned versus what you might be emotionally hoping will be the case, because those aren't always exactly the same thing. And if there is a significant contrast, maybe do a little bit more journaling about that of are you clinging to ideas that are too harsh? Are you clinging to ideas that are perhaps too lenient? What is that saying about your own sense of your personal accountability and things of that nature? Your mind could really take you on an interesting wild ride. So I do think it is worth contemplating today. So, on that note, I wish everyone a magical and a delightfully spooky day. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Don't forget to leave me a like button. That is the easiest and least trouble way to let me know that you enjoy what I'm doing. And it also tells the YouTube algorithm that perhaps you would like to see content of this kind to be more of it. And it helps with, that algorithm. That algorithm, I swear, it's becoming its own little thought form at this point. So, try to infuse it with the kind of content that you want. And I think that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.